Hi, everybody. This book is called My Dad is Really Something. And here we go. The pictures of the kids. Ron is a new boy in my class. I like him a lot, but sometimes he makes me mad. One day, I showed the kids at school a book my dad had written. Then Ron had to speak up. That's nothing, Harry George, he said. You should only see what my father can do. He can tear a phone book in half with his bare hands. I bet your father can't do that. When I got home, I gave the phone book to my dad. I told him what Ron's father could do. How about you? I asked. He shook his head. I'm no strong man, Harry George, he said. I put the phone book away. He could have at least tried. Then I remembered how once my mom and I had watched my dad climb a tall ladder, crawl up a steep roof, hang onto a chimney with one arm, and reach way out to rescue my kitten. We were all very scared that my dad would fall. Maybe my dad isn't real strong, but he sure is brave. So I told Ron all about what my dad had done. That's nothing, Harry George, Ron said. My father fought in the war, and he rescued wounded soldiers. He has a whole box full of medals he won for bravery. After school, I watched my dad fix my bike. I looked at all the tools in his box. I wished there were medals. How come you never fought in the war? I asked my dad. Flat feet and poor eyesight, my dad said. They couldn't use me. I was lucky. Lucky, I exclaimed. Lucky? You could have won a whole lot of medals like Ron's father. Ron's father? My dad said. Oh, I remember him. He's the one who tears up telephone books. So he won medals too. For bravery, I explained. Well, good for him, said my dad, and he shut his toolbox with a bang. Oh, there's the kitten, see? For my birthday, my dad bought me a soccer ball. It's just like the ones the pros use, I told Ron. That's nothing, Harry George, he said. My father gave me his very own football, the one he had in college. Once he carried that ball 85 yards for a touchdown and won the game. I wondered why my dad never played football. He doesn't even watch it on TV. When I got home, I said to him, can flat feet and poor eyesight keep you from playing football? I don't know, he replied, but being short and fat sure can. My dad is short and fat. Later, my dad and I finished the model plane we'd been working on. I could hardly wait to show it to Ron. See what my dad and I made, I said to him. I bet you and your father never made anything like this. That's nothing, Harry George, Ron answered. My father doesn't fool around with model planes. He flies real ones instead. The kind that take off and land on a carrier. That's dangerous stuff. As soon as I got home, I asked my dad if he would like to be a pilot. I don't care that much about flying, he told me. Why not? I asked. Well, let's just say I feel better getting off a plane than I do getting on. I wish he hadn't said that. I started to walk away. Wait a minute, said my dad. Does Ron's father happen to be an airline pilot? Oh, no, I replied. He flies fighter jets on carriers for the Navy. That figures, I heard my dad mutter. The next evening, we had an open house at school. My mom and dad came. They looked at my work and talked to my teacher. Is Ron's father here? He asked her. Harry George tells me he's quite a guy. I'd like to meet him. The teacher looked at me in surprise. You must be thinking of someone else, she said. Ron's father died years ago. I walked home like a robot. I couldn't talk or think. My mom and dad and I sat around the kitchen table having a snack. I didn't feel much like eating. How could Ron do that to me, I asked. We were friends. He didn't have to lie to me. Maybe it didn't seem like lying to Ron, my dad suggested. Maybe it didn't seem like lying to Ron, my dad said. All that junk about tearing up the telephone book, I said, and the medals and the football and the flying planes, all the lies, I went on. And I believed him. He fooled me. We can never be friends again. Never. I'm too hard on him, my mom said. Ron doesn't have a father, so he made one up. I didn't want to talk about Ron anymore. I didn't even say goodnight. I just turned my back and walked out of the kitchen. I had a good workout with my punching bag. After that, I felt better and went to bed. As I lay there thinking how different school was going to be without Ron. No more borrowing his mystery books either. I'd miss opening my desk and finding one of those silly cartoons he likes to draw. Nobody else I knew could invent a father who would tear up phone books, win football games, and fly fighter jets and win medals. And then I remembered how I'd wished my father could do those things. I didn't feel very good about that. I wondered what it would be like to have a make-believe father instead of a real dad like mine. I'm glad my dad is real. Next morning, I told my dad that maybe I would be friends with Ron after all. He smiled and put his arm around me. I asked if Ron could go fishing with us sometime. Sure, said my dad. Let's make it next weekend. That's how the three of us began doing things together. At recess today, I heard Ron say to some kids, Harry, George's father, takes us fishing and we go sailing too. He knows 10 different ways to make paper aeroplanes. Harry's George's father is really something. Yep, that's my dad, all right. He's really something. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye. Love you. Bye.